644 at KPEL.
It's okay. You can talk about it.
Welcome into a Katie on this morning. We want to join our guest. We want to welcome our guest, Michelle Voss from
I'm
Faith
taking
House.
over the show, I guess.
All I have to say is yes, because it's, you know what? Life is too short.
You know,
right?
Bernie has this habit.
To not throw chicken legs, Bernie?
When you're sending a text message,
I have never met
Brandon
someone
knows this.
who has more fun with the emojis than Bernie. The other day, we were having a serious conversation about some things coming up on the show.
Yes.
And only thing she would respond was in smiling faces. And so I wrote back and I said either Bernie is sleeping or she's high. And she wrote back and she was
Well,
like, I'm fine. I'm
just
like,
being
I'm
silly."
just joking.
So, just keep them guessing. Plus, it's very entertaining for me because I know they're wondering, what is she doing? Why did she send me a chicken leg? Or why did she send me a commode? What is the deeper meaning here?
By the way,
Exactly.
What do I really think about that idea?
Speaking of the emojis, a lot of people are saying that the debate
Yes.
podium
Yes.
that you can use looks like a toilet.
Okay, seriously?
Oh.
Let's just put that in perspective.
Because a lot of people are putting it on Facebook, and it really does look
It
like a
does
red,
look
white,
like-
and blue toilet.
It does.
Yeah.
And that should tell everyone lots of things.
There's no more soapboxes. They're standing on their potties.
There you go.
Soap boxes, maybe a little bit cleaner.
So October is Domestic Violence Awareness Month, and
Yes.
in learning about Faith House and what you guys do and seeing the work that you do, it seems like half the battle is just putting it out there that everyone accepts it's a problem and that it's there.
And to ask the right questions, right?
Yeah, it's something
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of women and men as well deal with in private because there is a level of embarrassment that they feel, and seems like it might be somewhat warranted, but there are places like Faith House that can help them.
Exactly.
And I think just kind of getting it out there, to show that it is a real problem, that is half the battle.
That is the start of the battle, because it's been something that, everybody thinks that's their own private business. What happens in their home, what happens in their marriage and their relationship has nothing to do with me, but it truly has everything to do with everybody, because violence in the home leads to so much more. The children see it. The children grow up with that in mind as a healthy relationship, which is absolutely not healthy. It affects our community. It affects our healthcare system. Violence follows individuals to work. So we're here to talk about it and to say change matters. We need to make a change. We need to stop accepting these stereotypical views of men and women and the way a relationship should work, and that it's okay for boys just to be boys. That's just not true. That's allowing them to think that what I do and say doesn't matter and that it doesn't hurt. They grow up with thinking psychological abuse is okay, that demeaning other individuals to get what you want is okay. And so those are kind of the starting factors that lead into more serious domestic violence relationships.
Getting out there, being able to go to Faith House, and they're there for usually about 30 days.
30 to 60 days. We've kind of
what
on the
is kinda
situation
going on. Because that's the other thing. They're not going to have a deposit for an apartment.
No.
They're not going to have a deposit for utilities. They may not even have any kind of credit.
They might not
that's
be
built up.
safe
Yeah,
after
absolutely.
that point.
Yeah.
That's absolutely right.
Truly. So Faith House has a lot of different services. We've got our emergency shelter. We have transitional housing now that they can stay up to 18 months, where they can begin to find work if they're going for a degree, so that they have more education to have a better job and provide for their family. They can stay with us on a sliding scale basis. We have permanent supportive housing for those who are disabled at this point. And oftentimes the abuse can disable someone, either mentally or physically.
And, the sad part is another sad part, let me say, not but another part of it is years down the line is when some of these problems can come into view and come into focus.
Oh, yes.
Even, you may not realize how much damage has happened physically until, maybe 10 years later, 20 years later as well. So then you have a whole new set of problems.
Exactly. And the emotional abuse lasts so much longer than that physical abuse that you may have experienced.
And I think that, as hard as it is for a child to see it in their own house, the damaging part is showing them that it's okay. It's not, and you might want to smooth it over. If you are the one who's being abused, to say, you're going to smooth it over because you don't want them to be mad at their dad, or you don't want, however that situation is. I remember, this is so weird because I've not even thought about this in months, but as we've been talking about this, when I was in first grade, the school I went to was in my neighborhood. And so we walked, every day. It was about 3 doors down. It was a different time, okay?
Right,
I mean, we walked to school right there. Well, one day we saw a car come out of school and a woman was thrown out of a car. Her shirt was ripped off. And my mom or someone was with us. And even at first grade, she explained to us what happened, and, because we recognized the person. We recognized whose mom it was, and everything. It seared in my mind that, how upsetting it was at the time. Because, of course, as a first grader, you're first of all really scared by it.
Yeah.
But in time, it wasn't instantly. My mom talked to us about it and said, like, this is what was this is what was happening, and this is why it's not good, and this is why you never hit a girl, and of course as you grow up, there are stupid fights between guys, and whatever. Not to fall into your boys will be boys situation, but to ever lay a hand on a woman or a girl or a woman or anything, it's always just been seared in my mind. And every time one of these situations come up, I think back to that woman, and it's like, I don't know where she is. I don't know what. I don't know if it continued. I hope she got the help she needed. But seeing that early was such a diversion for it was such a lesson.
Yeah.
And you can teach that. If it's hard because you're trying to rescue yourself from it, but I think that's one of the values of Faith House, really.
Yeah. And beyond even our emergency shelter services, we have our new Family Justice Center, where under one roof we have a police detective solely dedicated to domestic violence. We have sheriff's detectives. We have Faith House legal advocates, women advocates. We do support groups at this center. Sexual assaults can come in. But there's a lot of different services that they can receive all under one roof, all at one time.
Because you get exhausted by having to explain it and tell it over and over and over and over just to be able to get help.
Yes. And for some who have been experiencing this trauma, domestic violence is traumatic. And the longer that you've been in it, the more traumatic it is for you. And so what's oftentimes frustrating for those who might have a family member who's being abused, or even for the police when they come out to a domestic violence call, which is one of the worst calls that they can go on, is that her story changes. Her facts don't add up. And so they begin to think, oh, she's crazy. Oh, she's on drugs. Oh, something's wrong with her. Oh, she's just lying. But the fact is that trauma changes our brain.
Yeah, it does. See, people don't understand that it does change your brain. That's part of what people don't understand about the syndrome.
Exactly.
I mean, these are actual physical changes that happen and go on.
And, your body does things just like way back in cave time, that there's that fight or flight.
That's right.
And so that's where your brain goes when you're under attack in your own home. It shuts off certain parts so that you can survive.
Absolutely.
And that's where you don't quite remember all of the details.
You don't quite remember. You should be scared, and you're continually in a state of fear.
Yes.
But at the same time, it blunts some of that because that part of your brain is explaining to the rest of you, I did survive it.
Right.
I did survive it. So that next time you'll bring that back up and you'll survive it again. That's why there's a disconnect for a lot of people who have not been in the situation to understand, well, why doesn't she just leave?
Exactly.
That's not the question. The question is, why does someone hit someone else in order to control them?
Exactly.
And whether it is a man hitting a woman or a woman hitting a man.
Yes. And that happens.
It
and
does.
We provide services. Don't think that we're just here for women. We provide services for males as well. And so we've had some through many different parts of our program. So Faith House is here to talk about domestic violence. We've got our campaign going on Change Matters.
And you have an event coming up, too.
We do. It's our 35th anniversary. And so we're super excited about this. And we've decided Vermilion Parish is one of our first outreach parishes that opened up. So we decided to take this celebration over there. We're going to be at Magdalene Place November 12th. And it's a bohemian-themed event. We just wanted to have some fun.
Love it.
That'll
So
be
that's
fun.
why Bernie's throwing chicken wings at me. She got confused. It's not Renaissance. It's Bohemian.
I can't make excuses for her anymore.
So November 12th, we've got Zydeco Radio coming out to be our entertainment. Cafe Josephine is going to be providing dinner for us. We're going to have a great silent auction, wonderful Bohemian decorations. You can come in your Bohemian dress and just have a great time celebrating 35 years of Faith House providing services in this community. And it's only because of the generosity that's right here at home in all of our 7 parishes. We couldn't have done it without supporters like you guys, Town Square, and all of those individuals who help either provide donations that these women can take with them when they move out, or the funding that it takes to run such a massive crisis center.
Very great information.
Amazing.
We will get all of it
Amazing.
up on our website, KPEL965.com.
So
Michelle
can I
Voss.
still send you chicken wings and legs?
Anytime you want.
Okay.
You might make me hungry. Are you going to bring me lunch afterwards?
I don't know about that part because he is so mean that
Oh,
He
that's
doesn't
why,
let you
please.
out?
Oh.
that's why I always send him those commodes.
Come on. 6:55 now.